Kevin, how is this looking?
It's interesting. Usually on an IPO, founders like Trump have a 6-month waiting period before there's liquidity. But once you're a public company, you have a mark-to-market price on stock. You can often go to money center banks and borrow against it, maybe 30% of the trading value, 20%. But that would be enough to offset the $540 million. But I don't think this case has anything to do with Donald Trump anymore. And I really don't. I think every American and every financial services person and financial services is the 10th sector of the S&P. Everybody's very disturbed with what's happening here. It's not that trial's over. Forget about Trump. Property rights are mentioned 37 times in the Constitution. Due process, very important. Why steal someone's asset in 27 days? Why not give them more time to come up with the cash?
Wow.
You want to bring $3 billion to build a data center in America, which I'm going to go and raise next week all around the world? The number one question I have when I go to these countries to try and raise this capital is, what the hell is going on in New York? And I tell them it's not America. It's just an anomaly. I swear to you, everybody, this is not America. Don't worry. Adults will enter the room soon. It's like a dress-up party in court. It was a crazy night out with the parents. Poo-poo happened, but someone will come in and fix this. This is not America. I swear to you, this is not America. And every American should be saying what I'm saying. This is just New York for now. Now, would I put money into New York? Never, until this crazy madness ends. And I'm not the only person saying that. But this is not America. It's not America.
No.
This is Venezuela. This is Cuba. This is crazy.
Russia.
All right, guys. So what you just saw there was Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, still going off about Letitia James preparing to seize Trump's assets. Now, the reason why is because as a businessman, he sees the writing on the wall in regards to the effect that this could have on how the U.S. is perceived on the global stage when it comes to business. Okay, when you have a tyrant like Letitia James seizing a businessman's assets because he doesn't fall in line politically with the Democrat Party, yeah, that doesn't look good for the American brand at the world stage, right? It's hard for us to come out here and to talk about Russia or China or Venezuela or Cuba, these countries that we claim that we don't want to be like, when we are showing that, no, we are actually like these countries in a lot of ways, especially the Democrat Party, right? They are very authoritarian, okay? And proof of that is this interview right here that we see from Miss AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I believe has her priorities out of line in regards to what she should be focusing on, and we will talk about that later in the video. But for now, she's focused on Trump, okay? And like Kevin O'Leary said, this is Russia, this is Cuba, this is Venezuela, right? And again, the reason why you know that is because AOC, who basically wants the United States to be like these countries, she's coming out here and she's giddy. She's giddy over Letitia James and the prospect of her seizing Trump's assets. In fact, she says it's a risk if she doesn't seize Trump's assets. Okay, she's basically begging for this type of fascism to take place in this country on CNN. Okay, and I want to react to this interview because, again, it tells you everything you need to know about how these Democrats think and what they actually really want for this country. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So 5 years ago, as a brand new member of the House of Representatives, you grilled Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, about whether Mr. Trump had lied about his finances for tax purposes. Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, says that testimony directly led to her office's fraud investigation and this $464 million penalty, this bond Trump has until tomorrow.
Look at that smug look on her face, right? She just looks so smug right now. She's so proud of what's happening that she may have had something to do with this, okay? That's the look on her face right now, right? So smug.
Post. If he does not post that bond, do you think the state of New York and Attorney General James should begin seizing his assets? And are you at all concerned that doing so could actually lend him political support, feeding into his narrative that the deep state and Democrats are out to get him unfairly?
Well, I think Attorney General James has been handling this case with tremendous skill. It's ultimately up to her determination, but it is my belief that all people should be treated equally under the law. And if that seizure of assets would be pursued to any other American, then Donald Trump should be treated the same. As far as the political implications go, I think that what we are dealing with politically is the much larger and much more grave and serious pressure of having this judgment against Donald Trump and him being in this degree of debt, and the financial pressures that he is under and what he is subject to do in order to obtain those assets. I actually think that there is risk in not seizing these assets and the open window that exists in him trying to secure these funds through other means. We've seen a lot of interesting transactions happening with Truth Social and other means, and there's a very real risk of political corruption. So again,
Yeah, so what she's afraid of is that Trump is going to raise money in other ways, right? That's what she's afraid of. So she's basically saying, well, Trump is going to potentially try to get money from other people, right? And the left basically is trying to allude to Trump going to Russia, right? This is a conversation that they've had in the mainstream liberal media. They're trying to say, well, Trump is going to go to Russia and get the money.
Do you really think that Donald Trump being pushed to a financial point would reach out to a China or a Russia or...
Donald Trump does not have a moral compass when it comes to America's standing in the world, how we interact with our adversaries, and he certainly puts his interests before the country. So if an oligarch in a Russia or a Chinese business official wants to help him get this money, I have no question that he would end up accepting it.
Wow. All right. As we look...
Yeah, so once again, we have the liberal media and the Democrat Party who claims to not believe in conspiracy theories, pushing conspiracy theories about Trump colluding with Russia or some foreign entity in order to enrich himself, right? This is what they do all the time. But yeah, that is what AOC is saying. AOC also stated that, well, if this would happen to anybody else, then, I support it, right? She's basically trying to say that, well, this would happen to somebody else. This is not just, about Trump. And it's like, no, this would not happen to anybody else, right? That's the point. The point is that we've never seen a judgment like this before, okay? We've never seen a $500 million bond for a victimless crime, okay? I mean, that's the whole point. The point that people are making is that, you're definitely treating this person differently than you're treating other people. And it is extremely obvious that that's the case. But AOC says, well, I believe in treating everybody equally. Well, if you believe in treating everybody equally, then you can't support this because Trump is not being treated equally. And Jake Tapper should have done his job as a journalist and pushed back against that and said, well, in what way is Trump being treated equally, considering how we've never seen anything like this in regards to a judgment? But, they'll never ask those type of questions to, Democrats.
Respect the Attorney General's discretion here, but I do think that he should be treated equally under the law.
Do you?
He's not, though. He's not. That's the point, AOC. That's what people are upset about. But again, look at her stupid face here. Okay, this is the face of communism, guys. Right? That's what it is. This is the face of authoritarianism, right?
You think, well, let me put it this way. What do you say to an independent voter or an average voter who looks at what's going on with Donald Trump? You have his assets might be seized tomorrow. You also have the hush money case from the the district attorney, Alvin Bragg of New York. You also have the Georgia case about election interference. You also have the special counsel investigation on election interference. You also have the classified documents case down in Florida. That's 5 cases. And to a voter, what do you say to a voter who says, well, that doesn't look like he's being treated equally before the law? That looks like somebody that the government is going after.
Has there ever been a president, Republican or Democrat, that has been subject to this level of criminal charges, indictments, and investigations? This is not about party. This is not about politics. This is about corruption and criminality. We're talking about an individual who ordered essentially a terrorist attack on the Capitol of the United States in order to retain power. That is not about being a Republican. It is not about being a Democrat. It's about being an unethical and individual who is subject and prone to criminality. And unfortunately, this is the state that we're in. And I actually think that the fact that it's happening in so many places and so many jurisdictions cuts in the face of that. This is not just New York. This is Georgia. This is federal courts as well.
Well, again, it's all happening at the same time, right? Right before the election, which I think, in my opinion, actually, supports the point that this is all coordinated. This is an attack on one man. Okay. But again, AOC, she's celebrating this, right? She knows what it is. But again, she likes the authoritarianism, right? I guarantee you she wouldn't appreciate it if somebody seized her Tesla, right? Which, hey, who knows? I'm just saying, maybe that should happen, right? Since this is the game that Democrats want to play. When you're talking about seizing the assets of your political opponents, somebody should investigate AOC and then turn around and, seize her Tesla, take her property, and let's see how she feels about it, right? But with that being said, I think AOC's priorities are out of line, because while she's on television begging Letitia James to seize Trump's assets, her district is quite literally turning into a third world country. And the residents, her constituents, are revolting against her because she's nowhere to be found, except on mainstream liberal media complaining about Trump.
Ella no ha vuelto por aquí.
She is never here.
No hacía campaña voluntaria por ella.
I was a volunteer for
Ella
her.
abandonó la comunidad.
She completely abandoned our community.
Ella más quiere su Washington y su money, pero la comunidad fue allá
She
abajo.
said she only cares about Washington and her money. She said nobody loves her here anymore.
Ella no abandonó.
She abandoned us.
Speaking of video, new video showing migrants here in New York City taking over the sidewalks to sell clothing and much more. The unauthorized flea market setting up shop in Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district. Well, our next guest says it makes Queens look like a third world country, which is why he has decided to launch a bid for local government. Ramses Frias is running for the New York State Assembly. He joins us right now. Ramses, good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How'd that happen?
Basically started over last summer when we let in all these migrants into our area. And they just came with this influx of people that needed to make money, and they started selling these goods along our streets.
Well, and so the problem is, you've got all the people who are now essentially vendors, but there are only so many sidewalks where you can be a vendor.
Right.
And now there are other problems in your neighborhood. Prostitution is super bad now. And also you've got crime.
Yeah, so we've become sort of this epicenter of crime and prostitution and illegal street vending. It's taken over many streets. It goes all the way from Corona through Elmhurst and into Jackson Heights. These are three neighboring neighborhoods that are really being hit hard with these problems.
Okay, AOC sent Fox News a statement, and she says, regarding the video, what we are seeing here is the result of anti-immigrant policies that deny immigrants proper work permits and vending licenses and drive them into the shadows of undignified conditions. This is just one way of many that anti-immigrant policies hurt all of us. Paths to citizenship and work documentation can solve this problem, but Republicans would rather block so they can film people in their worst moments for views. What do you say to that?
So what are they trying to do to change it? There's no team coming out and speaking to these vendors, speaking to the prostitutes that are in these situations. Where's the help? Are you trying to put something together to inform everybody and educate them on the outlets and avenues that they can actually take to become a better person out here and coincide and coexist with the residents?
You told me earlier, it doesn't appear that she is doing what she's supposed to be doing for your neighborhood.
Never does. I've never even seen her in the neighborhood. She doesn't campaign there. She's never set foot there. I've never seen her on Roosevelt Avenue. This is a few blocks from where I literally live. I live and breathe this every single day, and I see this every single day.
Yeah, so nobody should be surprised that AOC and her district is turning into Venezuela, while also advocating for the New York Attorney General to act like Venezuela by seizing the assets of her political opponents, right? I mean, we all see what the Democrat goal here is, okay? You guys see, okay, Democrats and what they really want for this country. AOC's district is turning into a third world country, okay? If you go to AOC's neighborhood, you have prostitution, crime, illegal street vending, again, things that you would see going to some third world country. And at the same time, AOC is on television instead of worrying about the deteriorating conditions of her district and the fact that she never shows up, okay, to her district to actually do her job, right? That she's abandoned her constituents. She's on television, CNN, advocating for more of that, right? More third world country politics, right? Which is what she believes in, right? She believes in this type of overt authoritarianism, right? And that's the result. The result is that you get your political opponents, you seize their assets, you try to throw them in jail, and then you turn your district into, basically Venezuela, right? Caracas, okay? That's what it is at this point, okay? That's what New York City is becoming, okay? So I think that AOC has her priorities out of line, right? I think she needs to worry less about, Trump and worry more about her own damn district. But then again, her district voted for this, okay? They voted for a socialist to go to Congress, and this is what they got. They got socialism. They got exactly what they voted for. So, I only can feel so bad for them. I just feel like AOC's priorities are in the wrong place. But then again, her priority is to turn this country into Venezuela, and that is what she's advocating for on television, and that is what her district has become. So nobody should be surprised by the results of what we're seeing here. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.